Okay, first of all, my apologies because of the timing, because tumekuwa na a bit of technical hitches here and there. Thankfully, we need to do these things, so that's why we tuko hivi kwa sababu ya internet imeleta issues. So hopefully, Kolo, you are hearing me clear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sawa. Now, karibu sana. Could you kindly introduce yourself ndio watu wakujue, kwa sababu wewe ni guest leo, wewe uko kwa nyumba yetu leo. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you so much Mwegas, and thank you kwa kunikaribisha kwa hii show. So my name is Collins Omondi na I'm a sexual and gender-based violence prevention specialist na nimework organizations mob on issues of prevention ya sexual assault and also on child protection, and I'm so happy because of the topic ya leo, because majorly in attach some of the effects what happens to our girls as a result of probably misinformation and engagement ya vitu mob kwa society. So yeah, thank you so much kwa kunikaribisha na let's hope this is going to be a very, very engaging session. Thank you.
Sawa, karibu sana also for accepting the invitation. Now, without further ado, I want us to get into the topic at hand, because of course we are late. So first of all, apologies to everyone who was waiting for us. Now I think we are like 36 minutes late. Apologies for that. We are having some technical issues. Okay, now, what would you what would you say is an unwanted pregnancy?
Hiyo ni swali yangu ama umeuliza audience?
Si wewe ndio unauliza. Like in your unscripted, so that's why sikukutumia maswali mapema.
Sawa. So thank you so much Kamau. Sasa mimi hata nikiangalia tu the word unintended, unwanted, hizo ndo words huwa zinatumika So from my perspective, najua kila mtu anakuanga na different descriptions, but mimi naweza nikasema ama definitions. Naweza nikasema ni ile pregnancy imekuwa mistimed, haijakuwa timed, imekuwa unplanned. Ni unwanted kwa sababu this guy is engaged in a sexual activity without the use of contraception, either through choice ama coercion. Whatever happened afterwards, it was unplanned, unwanted.
So unwanted pregnancy ni ile boli inakuja kama mtu hajajipanga.
Yes.
Now, there is a reason why nilieka can married people have unwanted pregnancies?
Married people? Wanaweza kuwa nao pia. Let me tell you, unajua one thing ndio nimesema, in fact worldwide saa hii tukiendelea almost 45%, and that it's almost 50, half inasema pregnancy zote zinakuanga unintended, unplanned. Na mimi nasema hivi kwa sababu at some point even sisi kama wanaume when we were starting our own tukasema huyo msichana tumweke kwa nyumba, tunataka saa kuanza kuishi. Unajua those days zenye tulikuwa tunaanza maisha, for us it was different from ungekuwa tu tunachukua msichana alafu unamdunga ball unasema sasa venye kuko kujipanga. Lazima kulikuwa na ile kitu ya society pia itanichukuaje. So sisi kama maboy, even if I knew I wanted to get a kid with the girlfriend I had, my wife, at some point ile pia tu maybe I am pregnant, ndakuwa in shock. So ukiangalia like there's just it constitutes 45% ya pregnancies mobs na kuanga ni ile kai saa hii imekuja sana. So it was not planned for, but because it may happen, tuna move on tunayo. So I would say there is also unwanted in marriage and also people who are couples.
Okay, now just a follow-up question, and so and this is just to keep the conversation going. So if we know if we are having unprotected sex, there is a possibility of pregnancy.
Yes.
Why do people still do that and still claim that the pregnancy is unplanned, is unwanted, and especially wakati mtu atumii contraceptives.
Okay. First of all, right now, as we speak, our generation sai, especially ya madem na maboy teenagers, they are engaging in sex kwa sababu ni kitu wanataka kuexperiment. So hawana information ya the aftermath of what they're engaging in. And then number two, there is also misinformation ya issues of contraception. So unapata boy na dem wana engage kwa kitu because wanataka kuexperiment na kuexperience venye huwa ina feel because of what their friends wamewaambia. This is how it feels. For you to be a boy, for you to be a girl, lazima ufanye kitu kama hii ndio uweze kufeel in place. So they end up doing, and then afterwards inalipuka, uko na ball. Sasa nayo inaanza kuwa serious issue. Before ilikuwa ni kujibamba, but sasa inakuwa serious. And hii hatuta blame tu hao watu walikuwa hao wawili wakati walikuwa na meet na wana have sex. It also goes back to kama wazazi. There's some things we so much talking about, especially the issues za sex na dating kwa watoto wetu. So I would say the after is what they don't know, the consequences, because they don't have clear information about issues of sexual relations. So siwezi nikawa blame, but at some point ni choice mtu alimake.
Yeah, but a little bit of pushback, like sai si kama time, for example, the early 80s and 90s when we were growing up. Right now there is a lot of information out here about contraceptives, about HIV, about pregnancy. It's not like they are getting into this thing.
Hello? Hello?
Let me see. Are you getting me now? Aya, guess amepotea. Okay, as I'm waiting for him to come back, so we are still talking about I guess he's having a bit of issues with the internet. Karibu Kolo.
Umerudi. Yeah.
So nilikuwa nasema hivi. It's not like the time we were growing up when there was no info. Right now there is so much information out here. Yeah, story of pregnancy, stories of consequences of sex, story. We have done a lot on HIV in terms of awareness creation, sexual reproductive health and rights imekuwa ni kitu kubwa siku hizi. So like what is the excuse these young people are using? Because these young people have smartphones. These young people can go online and access the PORN. Right?
Yeah.
Sasa, as in, what is the issue? Because it's not like there is no information. It's not like they don't know where to get this information, and it's not like there is so much misinformation like kitambo venye ilikuwa. What is? Because I know you are working with young people and you have worked kwa hii field for so long. What is their reasoning? Are they not getting the correct information? Are they not getting the right information? Are they not getting the information?
Okay, so thank you so much, Kamau. One thing I can say ni let me use a different example ndio niweze explain what you just asked. Ni kama umeleta unacheki unaweza leta food kwa meza.
Yes.
Na hii food inafaa ikuliwe na watu, but unajua unahitaji food, but since hujaambiwa karibu huwezi kula. Hujui kama utalipa bill afterwards ama imelipiwa. Ni the same na information. Information iko out here. Information imejaa. Number one, tunaweza tukasema issues of contraception, consent, hata issues na abortion. By the way, hizi vitu haziko part of school curriculum as we speak. It's not. And ukiangalia mashule mingi saa hii, they are more of faith-based. Zinakuanga more of faith-based. So life skills instead offer messaging around abstinence and the consequences of having sex and HIV and drug abuse. But our youth, our young people, these adolescents wana like ile information ya ku make informed choices about what they hear, what they see, and all this. Kwa sababu choices means guidance. Mean guidance. Mtu anafaa kujua consequences ya kenye atafanya. So it's not like an excuse. They never know what goes beyond kitu anaona saa hii. Haoni mbele. Ni yetu ulikuwa unaambiwa ukifanya hii ujue hii happen. Na mimi kama babako, the moment this happens, nitakupeleka na nasema wewe ndio uko responsible. By the way ulikuwa unapeleka wazazi wanaenda kuongea wanasema kijana wetu. Hello? Unanisikia?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Kitambo ilikuwa mimi nimeimpregnate. Kwanza watu wetu wataenda sema kijana wetu ndiye amefanya hii kitendo na tumekuja na sasa mimi nitaitwa, kuna time nitaitwa tu kwa kamati, nitakalishwa tu chini. Sasa mimi time mapema na iko inafaa. But now hakuna kuna hiyo time ya kukaa chini na hao watu kuwapatia correct information. Out here there is miscued information about issues of sex sana. And I know I am religiously inclined, but I wouldn't want to go to that side of religion. But I think also our religious background is blocking a lot of information from reaching our young people on issues about sex and contraception.
Okay, sawa. That one is well noted. Now, my question, I want to take it a bit further.
Okay.
They might not be getting all this information from school, right?
Yes.
However, they have, like what I said, they have access to smartphones.
Yeah.
And they can access all these other sites. And I used one example of the PORN, right? And they know where to go get that. But also there's a lot of information on, like ukiingia to Google and just write and just type pregnancy prevention, like you will get about 1,000 articles. Is it? So what is stopping these young people from accessing this information? Because and I will just say this as an example. A lot of things tunafundisha go shule.
Yeah.
Like unless uko na interest nayo huwa ingi. Right?
Yeah.
So is it like if we, and I'll give you another example. You know, when they introduced sex ed in school in the US,
Mm.
the rate of pregnancy went up.
Mhm.
Child pregnancies and teenage pregnancies went up. The rate of HIV and STIs went up.
Mhm.
So if and it's not only the only nation that you can see in terms of sex education in school and the rise of STI, HIV, pregnancies na hizi vitu zote. So if it has been done before where they were taught stories of sex and instead ya hii story kukuja chini ikapanda, what is different about Kenya, or what can be done differently if we would like to do this thing in schools?
Kwanza, before I talk about what can be done differently, let me tell you whatever it is that you're saying ni ukweli. Number one, children learn about sex sana from the internet.
Yeah.
Which as a GBV intervention specialist naweza sema in our connect kwa predators. It is connecting them to predators. There was a girl, and I think we've seen this even in social media, magazeti, stories kwa radio, kwa TV, tumeona where people meet each other on Facebook. So there is this girl and I meet a man on Facebook, and it travels over 200 kilometers, my friend. hiyo ni karibu 124 point I don't know what miles.
Anaendea miti.
Anaendea miti, anaenda kutingisha.
Anaenda kutingisha miti.
The end result is this guy impregnates her. Whatever happens hapo kuendelea mbele ni history. Unaget?
Yeah.
So I would say, while some of these issues of sex are consensual, some girls are forced also into these stories of prostitution at a very tender age. Why? Cycle wako nayo inaanza kuwa push kwa kupata do mapema. Ni the same hata ukitaka biashara sahi na hujamaliza shuleni na kupatia karibu 2000 per day, una feel iko sawa than nisome niende nika hustle pesa mbele. So the moment they start getting introduced into this, and also our cultures, this is some negative social norms, the child marriage, and also assault zinafanya wasichana wetu wanakuwa introduced into all these as early at a very early age. Now going to what you are saying about what needs to be done, mimi hapa naingilia number 1 kwa sababu there are ways in which the government can really put some statements mpaka ufeel ukifanya kitu fulani kama provider ama caregiver kwa watoto wetu ama wasichana wetu ama vijana wetu kwa hizi institution, especially let's say place kama NCCK, una feel threatened. Our providers have been feeling threatened every now and then. So policies inakuwa drafted every now and then they are being withdrawn at the whim of the Ministry of Health officials. So in Kenya, at the mercy of individuals and their biases. So those policies can never be in place whereby you'll feel as in kitu kama hiki happen. Unajua mimi niko nataka kwa zile policies inasema wewe kijana ukifanya hii. You remember this issue about the chief who started caning young boys for impregnating girls in where was this place? Watoto walifunga shule wakaambiwa wavulana mkijaribu kupeana mimba hapa mimi nitawachapa. That chief alikuwa na friend sana. So if we start putting some of these policies at the grassroots so that our young people can know the dangers of engaging in this, pole mtawakalisha chini na mweze kuambia the reason as to why we stop you from doing this. So I think one of the things is about policies, and then as parents we need to start supervising and monitoring our children's activities. Mimi nataka kujua mtoto wangu anaenda. Mimi mamangu nilikuwa nikifika home by saa 10 nikiboko, na sasa nimetoka chuo nimechelewa tu, but nowadays our young people, our teenagers wanaingia home hata saa 3 na mzazi ako tu sawa, amerelax tu, anasema at least amefika. No, I need to know where my children are at all times. It's not spying. Mimi nawapenda, but I need to protect them. Are they safe where they are? What are they doing? At wameenda back kwa neighbor. What are they doing kwa back? Is there an adult huko mwenye anawaangalia? Are they getting involved in useful activities wherever they are? If they are with me, am I a responsible adult who can supervise them? These are some of the things we need to start putting in place. Na zilikuwa kitambo, sahi haziko, and this is what is exposing our teenagers into all of these immoral behaviors.
Yeah, I have hapo kwangu Job Kibera, I see a lot of young girls. Wengi wao wanafaa kuwa shule but hawako shule. So wanashinda hapo kwa barabara wakibebwa na nduthi. Wanadhengwa sijui wanapelekwa wapi, wanarudishwa kidogo kidogo, wanafuatana nao maboy, wanaingia choche kidogo kidogo, wamerudi wamejianika kwa barabara. And I always ask myself, hawa watoto ni wazazi hawana? Ni prostitution wanafanya? As in, ni biashara gani wanafanya? Because and not even that, kuna mwingine mwenye anakuaga shule 1 week, 3 weeks hayuko shule, yako around, alafu anarudi shule 1 week, and I wonder like hii ni shule gani where a student comes 1 week, disappears for 2-3 weeks, then comes back and then disappears, and then I just like what is happening? Because like mimi ka community member, you know, if I go and confront these girls itakuwa ni issue.
Yes.
And then na hawa wazazi wao watoto and ni wademo wakubwa wako high school. So like our because I am sure 150% that they are engaging in sex. Can these girls claim that the pregnancy is quote unquote unwanted or unplanned? Because we are also stretching this unwanted and planned pregnancy too much that anyone can just claim that it is unwanted, it is unplanned. But huyu ni mtu mwenye amekuwa akihave sex, so kama hajakuwa akihave sex using protection.
But Raymond, kumbuka, there are some of these girls who are lured into accepting this, Yeah, they are being lured into, they're being coerced. Mtu anafanya hivi ni mwenye anajua kona akili zake poa sana. Unaweza pata ni mtu amemshinda na miaka. Wewe mwenye anambeba na nduthi si mtoto mdogo sana. Ni mtu ako tu na akili zake. So they are taking advantage of the situation, probably number one because of the vulnerability.
Yeah. Collins, umepotea.
Unanipata?
Nasema
because of the vulnerability, some of our girls and boys in the community, the people take advantage of them and involve them in these things because wanajua watafaidika, but to the expense of these girls. Msichana anajua atapewa trip free ama atapewa kama hizi nduthi zinaitwa pia road trip sijui, but atapandishwa nduthi apelekwe mahali arudishwe for free every now and then. You them hajui at the end of the day huyu chali ameshamtarget, ameshamnota, akajua huyu ni weak, huyu ni mtu nitampeleka mara 2-3, the fourth one nikimuitisha do hata nipatia na I'll take what I want. Then the moment this girl gets into this na ambiwe na usijaribu kuongea and kila saa nataka kwenda tena huko na ana pesa, itakuwa the norm of the day. But sisi wenye tunaona kitu kama hiyo na happen na bado tumenyamaza, don't you think hata sisi tuko kwa hiyo story? And I would say right now ukiangalia generally adolescents over 390 something thousand in a year wako pregnant. Let's go back to COVID. Wakati wa COVID sana. Did you see what really happened? And the counties, I think there were around 11 counties by then that were really topping in teenage pregnancy. Kilifi was top 2. I think it was at number 2 or number 1. And when you look at the percentages, you could tell our total at that time when they were home, they were idle. They had nothing to do. So they were looking for looking at how they can expose themselves out there and do something meaningful. But then wanaingia for all these behaviors. And then number 2, they've watched it on TV, as you'd say. So they're going to experiment. And then shule zimefungwa, hakuna mali pa kuenda. And that is where I think we need to thank our teachers. They stay with our kids for over 8 hours a day. Then wanaenda kupiga kelele huko na ujui pia wanakusaidia kufanya kazi yako. They're also parenting. So I wouldn't say that they engaged in sex because they wanted and they consented. No, huyu ni mtoto, huyu ni teenager, irrespective of age yake ama nini mtu afai kutake advantage.
So now, there is something which Vero has said, and this is okay. When it comes to the topic at hand, a lot of pressure and blame is put on boys and men, yet we don't talk about the poor of girl child or the woman. I feel like a woman plays a major role in whether sex will happen or not. In most cases, other than a few R cases, the R word.
Yeah.
Now, let me shape this question even. We are informed that girls mature faster than boys.
Yeah.
That girls would be 5 to 10 years ahead of boys in terms of their emotional, psychological maturity. And then, apart from those few cases where these young girls are lured by old men, most of these, ukiangalia wase wa boda, wengi ni vijana. Si ile time ya kitambo. Watu wa boda ni vijana. So now, the question is, our madam ni akili hawana, because you see, are we saying that girls don't have the power to reason? Are we saying that girls cannot initiate sex? Because there are cases where a girl will tell msowanduthi, nataka kwenda place fulani na sina do, but unajua venye si udu, jioni nitakam tumalizane. And then the guy, because ametumia do ya ngata, anaamua okay, wacha niweke hii ngata ya so nimkimbize mali anafaa kuenda, jioni nitaenda kudai mia yangu, kama ana cash alipe in kind. So what is the role of these girls? Because okay, the first question atakojibu ni, are they always the victims?
Hapa siwezi nika stand na side moja, but I know sisi wote as also reading from what Veronica alikuwa ameandika, I think also boys wamelack pia information tu ya kuwa na other thoughts apart from issues na sex. Na our madam, I wouldn't say they're always the victims, but in majority of them wanna fall kuwa victims of this because of some of the things they go through. Number one, ukiangalia story na economical hardship, kila mtu anajaribu ku bring something on the table. Anakuja anaangalia hii anaona manze tuko na financial difficulty kwetu na labda mtu wetu wako employed, what else can I do? Then msana anampatia idea, this is what you can do. And once you get that and you feel it's an easy way out, you engage in it because it is going to give you something. But hujui the aftermath. So I wouldn't say it is amekaa tu na ikamwangukia. Pia yeye at one point alifeel, let me try it out. That's why I said they're experimenting. So they're not just always the victims, but at some point I would say boy anapata pia mixed reactions. Ukimwambia na hapana na kuelewi juu pia haelewi ni nini hiyo anataka kuengage. So at the end of the day I would say both the boys and the girl need information about these issues that are happening, but majority girls fall to be the victims of all this because pregnancy itaonekana physically, itaonekana na ball, but boy hatutajua ni nani alimpatia mimba. Enda ghetto saa hii mademu wengi hawajamaliza high school na saa hii ukiangalia ni because wame drop out na wako na watoto. Why? It's all about these things that are happening. Hello?
Apologies, kumekuwa tu na like a hitch. Let me get the guest back hopefully. Yes, he's back. Karibu Kolo, pole. Didi leo ndio ile siku.
Leo ile siku nakuambia my friend, niko mashinani lakini tunang'ang'ana na hii network.
Hata anyway, I think I niliguza button but so you were saying something about girls not being victims but actually being victims.
Nilisema a higher percentage they are victims, but nasema pia a higher percentage ya victims hapa ni madem wana fall prey sana to a lot of men.
Are there cases where girls are actually the perpetrator, are actually the ones who are targeting these boys or these young men or this old man for her own financial gain?
Yes, mi nadhani nikasema yes, that is my personal stand because I've seen latest huku information zenye nimekuwa nikipata online na from friends and everything. There some of these girls, let me say, wanafanya hii kitu kwa sababu wako na gain wanataka kupata at the end of it all. Let's just be realistic. Unapata mse ameambia huyu msichana I don't want to do this. Dem anamwambia tu it's okay, mimi ndajipanga na nini. Boy, unajua kuingia box ni rahisi sana. Boy kuingia box ni rahisi, akili zetu zote mbili. The worst thing is that they can never function at the same time. So when the other one down there starts thinking, it goes overboard. So unajipata umejifunga. And then at the end of the day, the girl starts coming up with a lot of demands. Lots of demands. Mimi lazima uniweke, mimi lazima unilishe, mimi. So all these things inakani kama ni trap alikuwa na set. So I would say there are those who do that.
Yes.
Not all.
So in this case, hii pregnancy iko unwanted kwa pande gani?
I think tuko na different scenarios yenye iko unwanted. Iko both. Si nilikwambia hata mimi nikianza the day niliambia we are going to have a baby, nilishtuka. I was shocked, and it takes over 2 months for you to overcome the shock, but ulikuwa na engage kwa hii activity ukijua mimi niko ready kwa hii activity, but the aftermath bado ilinishtua tu, but nilirudi nikarecover. So it's the same, unwanted goes both side. Ni vile tu kwa dem itakuwa na physical implication, like utaona tumbo iko hapa. Boy huwezi jua, juu boy atatembea tu freely, so that is why boy anakaa kama anatembea scotch free, but pia kwake na feel manze, mimi sikuwa nimepanga hii story, but alikuwa amepanga ku have sex. The same thing na dem, walikuwa wamepanga ku have sex, either consensual, coerced or anything, but aftermath nobody was ready for it. So I think that would be my stand.
So what would you say about hii issue where umeguzia kiasi where a woman would use pregnancy to trap a man, and so this pregnancy is unwanted side ya Charlie, but side ya dem ni planned, and this is the scenario where, and this is something which I think I can Andrew Kibe has talked about a lot, and he says it is something to do with also his own experience where he had a chick, broke up, and then dem anakuambia come, we need to talk. Okay, nimekubali tume break up, but just come to we need to talk. Ukienda huko anakuambia ni aje sasa, si kamoja ka kwa heri, alafu ghafla bin vu unapigiwa simu, unajua ile time tulifanya hivi ulinipea ball. Let's wait for him to come back. I think internet yake pia imepotea. So are there cases where, and this is also for those who are watching, are there cases where young women also trap men? Karibu sana Kolo.
Kwenda na kurudi hivyo tu.
Kwenda na kurudi mpaka tumalize hii safari. So nilikuwa nakuuliza hivi. What do we do now for those in those cases where a woman now intentionally traps a man using a baby or pregnancy for marriage or forever, for upkeep, whatever? What do we do?
Well, hapo kwa what do we do ni sisi wote tu. Mi number one tu ni I think our boys ama men or young people should start thinking beyond sex. Sex has become the norm of the day. Yani mtu akihave sex and feel like so energetic. If they could think of something else beyond sex, man, I think would be going somewhere. And this goes back to sisi wazazi. And mimi kama mzazi wangu alikuwa na emphasize sana story ya the value of education. Unajua how education ilikuwa unasikianga is the key to success. There mingi ni joke. But the moment that thing enters your head, you find you have very key things to do in life than issues of sex. Sex comes in because you feel like you need to enjoy yourself and the circle yenye iko kando yako inafanya. So I would say, can we think of something beyond sex? Mimi hata niko nasema siku moja tu tuamke tusikie that word does not even exist. Tuone kama watu watadedi. People will be still alive. People will still. Now, by the way, this is out of context. If that word ceases to exist and the action ceases to exist, there are those people who will suffer and there are those people who will gain. In this way, kuna watu sasa watakuwa trapped into problems because this is the only thing they would do to get trapped. And there are those who would feel like, if I wanted to do it to have my selfish ways accomplished, sina namna. So at the end of the day naweza nikasema kuna vile boy akitake advantage ana feeling yako powerful, but pia kuna time dem anajua akifanya kitu fulani atakuwa na take advantage na itampea power over the boy. So I think this is a two-way traffic thing. I just wish people would start thinking about totally different things apart from sex.
But unajua sex is what makes the world go round.
Najua boss, wewe kwanza nakwambia wewe acha nikwambie. By the way, I know those were the days in 2000 and something. You and I know we've been in groups and wetu tuko online, sitaki kuongea sana, but we've been in groups where tunachochana, and there are people who withstood walikanyaga chini wakasema mimi bado time yangu haijafika ya kupata mtoto, na hatuko na joke tu naenda tunamwambia boss wewe ndio umebaki, uone sisi mtu anaweza feel out of place, but at the right time ilifika tulikuwa tushanyamaza kumpigia story cause ameamua yeye hata get mto hiyo time. Later on wakati alikuwa ready, si hiyo time alipata watoto na wakafuatana na anaendelea kuishi. So I think hii kupreshiana Kiswahili hii kupreshiana hii also ina cause. So kama pia sisi tunajali wenzetu, tuache kuwasukuma kufanya vitu zenye zitawashikilia.
So cause hii historia ya kuambia young people wache ku have sex always falls on deaf ears.
Yes.
Always falls on deaf ears. Now, because sex watafanya.
Yes.
What message do we give them? Because now utawacho tu hapo kwa nyumba na mtu atoke hivi. Kwani how a minute, 2 minutes shorter time than it takes mtu kukimbilia kitu kwa duka. Mtu ashaenda huko, ashatolewa nyege, asharudi. Like let me see, Veronica anasema my feeling about this question of what to do if a woman traps a man na pregnancy. I feel like it's high time people have kind of an agreement before engaging in sex. I agree with you, very Veronica. Good. Thank you very much. Very good. So Polo, as I was saying, for me, like my one of the things I will do is encourage young men. Wasimwagie mtu mwenye si bibi yao. Like don't go having unprotected sex with people you are not married to. And then I take it further. Unakumbuka kuna time ulisikia history, kuna time dem fulani huyu Drake musician ali chipo mtu alafu baada ya shughuli alitumia CD. Baada ya shughuli akaingia kwa bathroom akafunga hiyo CD poa, but sasa akaifungua akaweka hot sauce. Alafu kwa CD mali akaiweka, alafu akairusha kwa nini, kwa place ya kudispose. Alafu you dem akaamka akaenda kwa bathroom akachukua ile CD akaifungua akajimwage hizo sperms. Like huyu mse alitumia protection. Hauko umesikia scandal?
Siko nini kwa vitongoji bwana. Mimi naisikia saa hii, tuendelee.
Huyu mse alitumia CD, so yeye alikuwa amesema mimi sitaki kumess, nimejiprotect, but huyu dem intentionally akaenda akachukua hiyo CD alafu akajimwagi hizo content. Sio tu hiyo, kuna jamaa fulani a very wealthy guy alienda kwa hoteli, of course akaitisha mtu mwenye aliitisha, akaletewa inaitagwaje room service, akatumia protection, akamaliza akadispose hiyo CD hapo kwa place yenye unatupa takataka. Cleaner akakuja asubuhi akatumia hizo contact akajiimpregnate, akapata mtoi. Alafu koti ikaambia huyo mse lazima alipe child support juu mtoi ni wake.
You see, my friend, nimekuja kurealize hizi story tukitajanga hata koti ni kama wakwangi binadamu. Hawa wanaitwa lawyers ama lawyers and judges. They're not humans. Wao wanaangalia the aftermath and not what transpired. Hii kitu ilifikaje? Yeye anajua tu huyu msichana kona mimba na wewe ndio ulikuwa na yeye. But hizi vitu zingine kwao huwa apply. But you see, huyu ni mtu anafanya kitu intentional because anataka akona selfish gains at the end of it all. Na kuna kitu mimi husema hata even if young people ask many questions about sex, it does not mean that is what they are doing. So our parents, in case hata mtu amekuja kakuuliza baba, kila asubuhi nikiamkanga na kuanga hivi na naotanga hivi, kuna msichana ananiambianga, don't start thinking that your kid is engaging in sex. This kid needs information, and you are more of a reliable source ya kupata information correct. Ndio ikifika hiyo part ya kwenda trapiwa, hata ingia kwa hii trap ovyo. Even men need to say no. Men need to say no. Kwani ilifika ngamba wapi mahali hatuwezi tukakataa kitu? We also need to just say no, just the same way our ladies are assertive out there and say no, and then predators force them into doing this. Even men need to learn to say no. And I love what happened last time about this issue what is the name of this guy? Court ruling, I think ilikuwa ya Johnny Depp or who?
Yeah. Johnny Depp na Amber.
Yes, that is one instance yenye niliona for once there was kuna mtu alisikiza both sides, akaona kuna issue yenye huyu ana bring yenye pia ni legit, hata huyu mwingine analeta pia ni legit, but let's look at it keenly. It shows that you're also concerned of the other party mwenye anakuwa accused of doing something. Our men, kama huyo amesema amefall victim of this, na haezi jitoa, alikuwa na dem, alikuwa side chick wake na alitoka. Wao mwana alitoka na dem later akasema kona mimba. So what will the community say? They engaged in sex and this lady became pregnant. But the how is what nobody is willing to look at. And I think this is what is sending our men and boys into depression. Hajui ataongelesha nani, hajui atasema nini li happened, but people know they slept together. And the worst thing is that gone were the days when the Holy Spirit used to come and directly speak to you and say you are going to conceive. Sahi hakuna hiyo. Sahi ni human being anafanya kitendo ambacho huyu msichana atapata nao mtoto. So hakuna kitu kingine itasema. Even that day they were still doubting. Mary was a virgin but alipata mimba. People are still doubting. Even now. Alipata mimba na alikuwa na wewe, atumlishikana tu mkono. No, there's something you did. So I think we just need to open our minds wide and listen to our young people and give them information pale nje, wasikuwe trapped, because this thing is going to kill these people.
Yes, and I also think we also need to change the mindset that because if a girl gets pregnant, everybody's like it's the boy's fault. But also boys get trapped. Not even that. Sometimes they just, and this will seem controversial, and I'm not disputing or claiming anything when I say this, because there are many instances where young girls are forced into having intercourse and it messes with them because they are traumatized and all that. But then when you look at situations where a young girl can also trap an old man, and when I mean a young girl, I don't mean 14, 15, 13, but 16-year-olds hapa nje. I have seen a lot. I have engaged with a lot of them. 16-year-olds hapa nje, they are kuanzia 16 kupanda. These people can cause you problems, and like you said, boys and men need to say no. But then there are scenarios where, and this is even in the Bible, where is it Joseph akaambiwa ufanye ama nipige nduru?
Akatoroka. Ilikuwa ni story gani?
Ufanye ama nipige nduru. Sasa ni wewe Kolo, umebeba msichana, umepeleka mahali wewe ni mtu wa nduri ama alikuja kukuvisit, you never know, you know.
Yeah.
Unaweza ukakuwa wewe ni mwalimu, uko na watoto wanakuja kwako tuition.
Yes.
Alafu hiyo siku amwe niko na issue, nataka ukuje unisaidie hii mathematical problem. I show up. And then aanze hizo ujinga, umwambie mimi hii ujinga sitaki, toka uende. Aseme brother, ufanye hii maneno ama nipige nduru. Do you think if she screams and people show up, they will give you time to explain yourself?
You need to speak up. Mimi nasema tu, there's always a masikio mahali pale nje takusikia. And the only problem, Raymond, that I always see with our men is the moment they start seeing the red flags, they keep quiet. Mimi mwezi kuja kwa ofisi yangu kama mwalimu, wewe ni student, unakuja unashikilia meza yangu hapa, unaniangalia direct kwa macho, siku ya kwanza na ni tolerate. I think these are things that also our teachers have fallen prey of being termed as mtu ametake advantage kwa wanafunzi. Our teachers are professionals. Though I know there are those pale nje wenye pia vichwa zao zimeruka. But the moment you start seeing these red flags, can you speak out to probably your supervisor mahali useme, I've seen this and this happening, but let's see how it progresses. But you've already talked about it. By the time watakuja next time kupiga nduru, and then wewe uko hapa, you speak about it. Ongea, kwa sababu kinyamaza ukisema they will not believe. Yes, people will not believe, but keep saying exactly what happened. But ukitolerate alafu ile siku ilipuke ikuwe mbaya, people will not want to listen to you. And then number 2, how you behave pale nje when you're next to your the female gender or the male gender, it will always speak a lot. Raymond, mimi kama mtu mzima siwezi kuwa na cheka na watoto. Let's say this is a school setup and I'm either a subordinate or a teacher. I would not be walking around ati nimeekelea mkono hivi kwa mtu ati tunapiga picha ati me and my students. I make sense. Kwa sababu hizo ndo zitaanza, unajua hivyo ndo utaingia kwa trap. Mtu atatumia tu aseme hata uoni, si alikuwa anapiga kama ameshikilia hao mkono. Like these are the things that start piling up, then inakuwa kama evidence ya kuonyesha you do this. So I think there are some lessons about child protection that needs to go deep into our service providers, into institutions, especially mashule, to our teachers. They need to know that these things are there and they need to be on the forefront to also help these young people know that whatever it is they're trying to do, ini kitu haitawaingiza kwa trap. They need to speak about it. They need to open up and talk. Mimi nisema for the first time, if I hear a man talk and say enyewe huyu alikuwa anafanya hivi, please have some speck of listening to that story. At the end of it all utapata some truth. Mtu atokangi tu mahali na seme ilikuwa hivi. So I think we need also to have that on the table. Our men need to speak about it, and we need also ladies to be taught. Please stop doing what you are doing to make sure that this person enters into a trap. I'm not blaming the ladies, but I'm saying such instances have been happening. Teachers have been sacked. Their TSC numbers have been revoked. Wamechujwa, but huwezi jua wale kati yao walikuwa truly wanafanya kazi and then they just entered into a trap. But there are those, as I've said, wamefanya all these things, wanaangalia watoto in a different angle than just students. So that is what I would say. Breaking the silence, at the end of it all, it will help.
Yes, and I will repeat the question because haujaijibu.
Kulikuwa na swali hapo.
Yes, and I know it is, I'll not say controversial, it is not mainstream. If you have done for example hizo vitu zote, now when the people come, when the girl screams and the people come, do you think that the people who come will have time to listen to you? For example, tuseme uko kwa community setting and somebody, for example, somebody's daughter ametumwa akuletee kitu na kumbe huyu dem amekuwa akikumezea gamate kutoka kitambo.
Now
amekuja amekupata. Maybe you go to the same church or something, and you know when it is a church setup na nini, si shule, you know shule inakuwa na a lot of codes of conduct na hizo vitu zote, but wewe si mwalimu kanisa, wewe tu ni church goer, so you know okay, this is ni mtoto wa mtu najua, so maybe you will walk with them home, maybe atakuja akwambie, you know, akuja apite, maybe akujia watoi, you know the games they play. They come, they pick kids, wanaenda nao church, anawarudisha just so that she can be around you. Wewe ujui. And then this one time she comes and uko peke yako, no kids, nobody yako kwa nyumba. Ametumwa. And then akuja sasa mwili ile siku nakuja kuambia baba fulani. Mwambie Kolo, mimi nimekuwa nikikutai, mimi nimekuwa, umwambie sasa unajua sasa ndio macho yako inafunguka for the first time. Mwambie no, haiwezekani, tafadhali toka kwangu. And then akwambie Kolo, mimi napiga nduru saa hii. Niseme wewe and even she even raruas her clothes, akwambie sasa wewe uamue. Do you think if she screams, the people who will respond will give you time to explain yourself?
The response yenye itatoka kwa audience yenye itakuja itakuwa very aggressive. Number one, mwenye amescream call for help, so yes, they know literally they're coming to help the person who has screamed. Now yes, the person who is trying to perpetrate this ndio huyo amekaa hiyo side nyingine, so I know the instance watakuwa wamefika hapo, the first thing they will do is to secure huyo mtu mwenye amescream because yeye call for help literally. Then the other person, what has been happening majorly and be realistically speaking, atagongwa ama atachukuliwa apelekwe hata kabla aongee. At the moment, and this happens to men, and I know wengi pia wamekuwa na experience kama hii, the more you're explaining yourself, the more you look guilty
kabisa.
So una end up sasa either na pia ukinyamaza wanaona tumekupata. So I think at some point it just calls for, after hizo watu wameshapiga hizo manduru, najua kajina kako kameharibika, but utapelekwa mahali, utawekwa kwa room hivi ama kwa ofisi. Sasa sijui ni polisi atakaa huko ama nani, wanataka sasa kuongea. When it reaches to this soft level where dialogue has been created, now I think that is when I was saying, can you speak? Acha kunyamaza. But najua image kamechafuka pale nje, but these are things that are happening. But there is a time, there is a woman alikuwa anasumbua mtoto wake, and this happened in those areas zenye tuko kwetu, sitaki kutaja specific place, but it is in the Eastlands. The woman needed money to sustain the family, so alikuwa anatuma msichana wake all the time to a certain guy's place, and that guy had money, alikuwa na cheddar, so every now and then anamwambia enda tu huko muitishe, na kikunyima piga nduru. So this girl used to go, anapatiwa juchalipe, anaona ajui ametumwa. But ile siku sasa Charlie alikuwa anauliza mbona unakujanga kuomba ndio kwangu leo, si ukuje tukae hapa nini? Dema kona hii kitu inageuka inakuwa real, na ni kitu wako ameplan psychologically. Si akakumbuka venye aliambiwa piga nduru in case imefika hii part yenye mwanamke anataka kufanya hii na hii. The girl screamed. Aliscream na mwanaume alikuja kabebwa na akapelekwa ndani. Later on, wakati walikuwa nasikiza huyu Charlie, unajua watu hii, one thing with kids, they are a blessing and they will never lie for long. Kids will never lie for long. So ikafika tu mahali aliona conscience yake hapa iko poa. The kid decided to speak. Kasema mom alikuwa ananituma na nini. Alisema. But what has happened, jina ya Charlie imeshakuwa tarnished already kwa community. Number 2, huyu msichana amekuwa akienda huko intentionally because mamake amemtuma. And then number 3, the woman now became, yeye alikuja kashikwa. Why? Number 1, umetuma mtoto akafanya hiki kitu kwa mwanaume, alafu wewe umeenda ka implicate huyu mwanaume, yeye amefanya nini, anataka kunini msichana wako kumrape. The story changed, and we are going to change the paradigm once we start speaking out. But what I've said ni instant reaction from the audience. wakati wamescream mwanaume is to blame, nini unafanya na huyu mtoto. And I repeat, all men out there, in your professional work, whatever it is that you do, never find yourself in a room, whether an office or I don't know, staff room with a school girl ama msichana tu peke yenyu. Can you
hata
invite
mwanamke hata
hata
mumama siku
mwanamke?
hizi
Make sure
siku
others
hizi
are there. Yes.
yeah, make sure you have witnesses, and also the way you have
Yes.
said,
Mm.
hata tu mtaa, don't be too friendly
Yes.
with even to just women. Just
Yeah.
don't be too friendly with them, because you never know. Watu wanakuwaga na a phrase ngoma siaka, mashetani ya wanawake ikiamka ikiamka na iseme ni wewe, ujitoe na kuaga noma. So of course when we are talking about children, that's why I didn't label it teenage pregnancy, because a teenager 18 19 ni teenager but ni adult. That's why I said child pregnancies. So of course child pregnancies are wrong kwa sababu number one, especially kama wewe ni adult, like why would you be doing that with somebody who is not of majority? I know some people will argue, and it is almost it is now coming out mainstream, because if you see the way these people wale wana belong kwa zile alphabet, unazijua zile ma LMNOPs, the way they are pushing things, it's like they are trying, like now they are talking about issue ya they want to add kitu inaitwa child attractive or child attracted. See, this P word.
Yes.
The people who nini with children, they are now having a campaign saying that word is stigmatizing, that word is whatever phobic, and now they want to change it into attracted by kids. Like there is something out here which is crazy, which is like in a peak or somewhere, where they want to like destigmatize your issue. Like, why would you want to destigmatize something like that? Is something which needs to be stigmatized kabisa.
Yeah, sure.
There is no way you can be looking at a child and having any feelings other than a feeling of protection. You cannot be having any romantic thoughts towards a child.
Yeah.
And you cannot say that you have no control. That is nonsense. That is nonsensical. But that is something which they are pushing.
Yeah.
And not all of them, some activists, because I know people in that community, people who talk against it, they say, no, this is not something we believe in. We know this thing is wrong. Haijalishi, you cannot do that to children. So now, when it comes to a child impregnating a child, so now then that becomes tricky.
Yeah.
Because you can't claim anything, and for a time they will say, okay, you are 17, she's 15, so you are wrong. But these are two children. So if you use that rationale, then a person, then somebody who have relations with a 17-year-old and another having relations with a 15-year-old, then they should be treated differently, right? Because if you are going to say this 17-year-old is the one who is the problem here because I'll impregnate a 15-year-old, and not even that, even if it is a 15-year-old who impregnated a 17-year-old, it is always the fault of the boy. And anytime we have discussions about issues of gender, about issues of the psychological maturity, they will always say how girls wanna mature earlier, wanna mature faster. But until a girl is engaged in sexual relations with a boy who is older than 2 years, if we are saying a girl is 5 years, 10 years ahead of the boy, that means a 15-year-old should be thinking like a 25-year-old man. Why
And you
is
see
she?
Raymond. Mm?
Yes.
And you see Raymond, and many times hizi vitu zimekuwa zikihappen sana sana in the limelight zinatoka Eastlands. But do you know, even at these posh places, a lot of these
Yes.
things are the ones that are really happening. Because there was
Yes.
an instance where hii ni nyumba ya posh woman and okay, anaishi na watoto wake na ni wasichana wawili na kijana mmoja. Then hii wakati tu wa COVID, then after a period of time, unajua wako wanatoka nje na wako hadi na gate watchman ako pale,
Yeah.
yeye atoki, wamelinda watoi. Later the woman realized hao watoto wamekuwa kitapika, mademu wote wawili wale wafuatana hivi na there are 3 kids, 2 ladies and 2 girls and 1 boy. So wakaenda hadi kwa wochi wakamuuliza, wewe, kuna mtu aliingia hapo hapa ndani poison watoto wangu ama ni ati? Hapana. Watoto wakapelekwa OC kuangaliwa, wanaitwa, naambiwa, mama anaambiwa these kids, they are pregnant. They are pregnant. What happened? Una imagine mama alifanya nini vile alirudi home? Aliendea watchman.
Ochi.
Nini umefanyia watoto wangu? Si walichapa wochi wakamweka hadi ndani. Walimweka hadi ndani. Amefanya wochi, alijaribu kuongea hizi Kiswahili zenye anajaribu, hii ndio huyu mtu anaongea kizungu aelewe, aieleweki. Alikuwa tu ndani akafungiwa. And then this woman akakuja sasa, akaamua watoto waenda wafanyiwe nini, wakaprocure abortion.
Yes.
Unajua hataki jina yake ikuwe tarnished pale nje. Wakaulizwa tu pole ni nini ile happen. My friend, you know it is the brother. These guys were trying this, walikuwa na experiment kwa nyumba, hizi story tu za kuona kwa internet and issues of the P word. Na akawa impregnate. Now the woman feeling embarrassed, do you know what she did? Aliwapeleka majuu. Alichukua watoto akapeleka majuu, wanasomea huko. Like now they are no longer here. Yeye anataka image yake Nairobi ikuwe sawa. Now is that a solution? Ulipeleka watoto majuu sasa wakae huko waendelee kusoma. Ni kama like I was wondering how would you do this? So I feel embarrassed, and this is why I say even sisi kama wazazi, we really need to speak to our kids as wakiwa kwa tender age. We need to talk to them. The moment they start asking questions about specific things, the sexuality, find your way to talk about it, but not in a way yenye kama pia unataka kuongea vitu zingine hapo too much. Like, can you just speak to them about the consequences? Talk to them about predators. Talk to them about people they meet on the road who call them names na hawajui. Like, can they know that they're surrounded in a world that is evil? Kuna mtu alisema, in whose hands are we safe? Hatujui, we are no longer safe everywhere. Na kuna swali nilikuwa nataka kukuuliza Raymond, and
yes.
I don't know how you will answer this, but I need to hear your opinion.
Yes.
There are these ladies who would tell the men kama haja engage na yeye into any sexual activity or any intimacy, atamwambia mimi na feel ni kama we univalue, mbona other people are doing this out there na uko tu hapa hivi ni kama unani use na nini. So hizi words anapatia chali zina push chali to an extent where kwani hiki tu, is it a norm that has to happen? Na dem ana end up ana pressure. Do you think huyu chali at the end of the day akigive in, was it something yenye alikuwa anataka ama anafanya kwa dem ana feel apendwi sana ama afanyiwi venye mademu mwingine anafanyiwa? Because sahii hii age yetu na mateenagers sahii, they want to practice this thing to feel relevant. That is the issue.
Hiyo ni coercion, simple and clear.
Yes.
That one tunafaa kuiclassify under the R word. RAPE. We are not supposed, because why are you coercing somebody into engaging in things they don't want? Okay, I will make it a bit wider. I will unpack it. The boy anafaa kujua, and this is something which we should teach our sons, that the world is not patient enough to listen to you when a woman has accused you of something. So this boy has to be super careful when ana engage na hawa madem. Like we have said, whether ni job, whether ni mtaa, be very careful how you are engaging with girls. Number 2, if you are in a relationship, and this is something which we need to encourage young boys, is that hakuna dem atakupenda. Hizi mapenzi yenye wanapeanaga hapa ni uongo. Hakuna dem atakupenda juu hauna value. Like boy ako na value gani except any human being? Kwa relationship value yake ni gani? Hana anything. So boys wanafaa kulearn that dem akifikisha 18 years, hapo ndio mahali yako at her most valuable. Akishafika age of majority, because now she can attract whatever man she wants. But the boy hapo ndio ako at his lowest value, because hana anything. Everything ako nayo ni ya mzazi. So hizi mapenzi za ujinga zenye wanakimbizanaga nazo high school sijui nini, hizo wafanye tu ya character development. Uhatbreakiwe huko, upatiwe character development huku kwingine, but isikuwe anything sexual, because once it becomes sexual, then anajiingiza kwa trap yenye itakuwa ngumu sana kutoka. Because imagine you are 20 and you are a father, uko expected to provide ya mtoto at 20. What do you have? Hauna hata time ya kujijenga. Like that is the time when you are supposed to start building yourself, grow, ujijenge, because mwanaume ni wallet, mwanaume ni mfuko na potential. There is ni kweli kuna mwenye ni wallet, cause mademo anaangalia vitu mbili. Do you have money or do you have potential to have money? So unaweza kuko 25 with a lot of potential of having money, then now kuko na value yako ambaye dem anapigia sababu, because women look at the future, si tunaangalia the past. But sasa ukiwa 17, 16, what value are you adding? Imagine tu wewe, a girl dem mwenye ako na mtoi, although value yake itashuka cause ya yeye sasa ni baby mama. Huku nje kuna watu wanataka baby mama, but huwezi kosa tu kafala kamoja kenye katakubali, as long as ni mtoi mmoja na dem ni mdogo, dem ni mrembo, but hakuna mtu ako na time ya baby daddy. So number 1, wanaume boys wanafaa realize either utakula sembe because dem ataclaim zitu, utaenda jela, or utakuna work towards huyu dem na mtoi, si towards wewe. So number 1, Charlie asikubali kukua coerced. I know we are very simple beings. It does not take a lot kutuingiza box. We need to agree that we are idiots as men when it comes to sex. We are idiots. Lazima tukue na kitu very high self control. Where you can just tell a woman, okay, thank you for the offer, but at the moment I am not willing. You know, like the way you say asante sana for offering, but sahi it is hard, si rahisi. But that comes with age and experience.
Yeah, sure.
So I think also we need also to talk to boys to ambie women will put you into situations where they know you are at your most vulnerable. Now, the best thing to do is to avoid being in that situation. So that means avoid, this, because hiyo ndio time wana experiment. Hapo ndio mahali tunafanyaga experiment, mnatengeneza a monster that really messes with your life, and then now you live an angry life because you are taken advantage of. And also, like, that is the same thing also boys will say to girls, haunipendi kwa sababu unipei and stuff. So either one of them should just tell the other person to grow up na akuwe atumie akili. And also, what is this love they keep talking about? Like, these young people, what do they know about love? At 15, at 19, at 20, at 25, what do you know about love? Shut up.
And I think your word sahi ukitaja it, I think people get confused. Like saa hii tuambia tu mtu mwingine nakupenda, utaulizwa maswali juu sasa ajui hii unasema unanipenda ni juu you don't hate me, ama is it unanipenda because you want something out of it. And I think also as parents and watu wale tumepitia some of these things because life pia inatushape. And today I was
Yes.
writing in my status like unaweza kuwa na education mob sana but hiyo kitu haiwezi kupeleka mahali unless aka ka life kamekuguza kamekuchapa kakakuchapua kakakugonga kakakuinua, ndio utakuja ujue realistically yenyewe hii kitu iko na make sense. Kitambo nilikuwa nadhani ati ni life itakuwa smooth. That is why you will see people having, hata mtu anachapa degree mahali anajua anaenda kufanya kazi kwa NGO kubwa, then anafika huko anapata watu anaendanga field work huko msituni na maslum, anaamua huko siendi. Things have changed.
Yeah.
But ule kulelewa na hiyo slum alafu anataka kwenda kuwork mahali ako ready hata kurudi field, it's the same thing. Also we need to know our children's friends, we need to
Yes.
know our children's families. Mtu ameenda ati kwa kina anko yao, ameenda watu sahii, watu watafunga shule, unampeleka kwa anko aende akakae kwa anko, wewe umeacha kazi yako unawaachia anko ndio alishe watoto wako. You never know what is happening there. Wamekuja umwasend chapo, wamekuja umwasend sijui wapi. Stay with them, kaa karibu nao, give them a strong influence on issues on how they can use their time constructively. Kaa nao, ongea nao, let them know that these things are there. Na hii so is a coercion by doing both sides. It's not just about ladies, also men get coerced na wanaingia box haraka hata kuliko mademu. So
Yes.
I think from my side, I would agree with what you're saying. Like, it is really happening and our boys are getting coerced and they also need to say no to this. Shida tuache sisi wanaume wenzetu kwa kuangusha our fellow men and telling them, ai dem alikukatia ukakataa, wewe ni msawa aina gani? And these are the words once you say kwa wichali, next time ataambiwa na mumama akuje afanye 1 2 3 atakubali, then aenda kajibra kwa maboy, buda this time niliweza. And you will never know, hao watu wanakupressure, they never do that. Wewe utaingia tu box wewe ufanye whatever you want to do. So I think it's high time that we need to also demystify all these things, especially the stereotypes that are out here about men. Hao ndo wanafaa kupush for this. Ikipushiwa hao wakubali tu because hao ndio the lead. No. Kamdudu kako hapa nje. Guys are silent about it, but it is still existing. Our men are going down and they are not speaking. And it's tunaisha tutakuwa distinct. But I'm not saying this to the expense of the other gender. I'm just saying these things are happening and our boys are also being coerced. Yeah.
Yes. We need to teach our boys. And that kuna kitu boys need to learn, that they need to have a purpose in life. You know, once you are on your purpose, vitu mingi utakuwa una avoid, because everything that comes your way unaiangalia na hii inanisaidiaje mimi kureach purpose yangu.
Exactly.
So if it is not, if haichangii wewe na purpose yako, unairusha kando, whether it is friends, whether it is girlfriends, whether it is work, whether it is whoever. But shida inakuanga boys hatujakaa chini na our boys. That is also something we need to also take accountability for as men. You have not sat down with our boys. Tuambie, number one, have a purpose. That purpose is what will give you everything, from wealth to women to children, because women gravitate towards men who have no time for them. Have you realized that? Wewe wakati unashughulika na vitu zako za maisha yako, wakati uko focus na life yako na focus yako ni laser, women come to you. You don't go to women, they come to you. But young boys are spending so much of their time chasing women and they never find them because women are chasing men with a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, why is this woman even with you or trying to be with you?
They need to be helped to have options for their future that are much more attractive than issues of early pregnancy and parenthood. Like lazima kukuwe na hiyo purpose. Tuwasaidie kuset something that is real, something that is meaningful, a goal that will lead them to their future. We have to talk to them about what they will need to do to reach their goals. Upatie information, achague yeye kenye atafanya nayo, but tulimwambia. And that is why sometimes unapatanga mtu ameumia alafu unapata mzazi anamwambia kijana, si nilikuambia. Hadi unajiuliza kwani baba ana heart, mtoto ameumia anafaa kuwa na alimshow but alijipeleka. Unamwambia kwanza alafu unamtii. Unamwambia acha nipeleke utijue, but again ukirudia tu kiboko ni ile. So she will learn from this. And that is why I said life is the best experience. Yenye itakufanyia, pick from it, learn from it, take the lessons, move on. Na wachilia vitu vingine kando viende.
Yes, so now for the last one, alafu sasa tufunge. Now we are clocking almost 1 hour 16 minutes. Veronica anasema we are afraid of pregnancy but don't fear magonjwa. Vero,
exactly.
I will add something right now, and this is something which I've noticed na girls. They are more afraid of marriage than pregnancy na magonjwa. Like I even don't understand. Okay, I have this friend and I know she will watch because she's part of the community. Ako na ball. She's almost giving birth. Na nikamuuliza, okay, when are you getting married to the father of your child? Unajua aliniambia aje? I don't want unplanned marriage. Skiza, the pregnancy was unplanned, but she's keeping the child. But she does not want an unplanned marriage.
What?
And I'm like, okay, how is that even making, like, I couldn't make a sense. Like, how are we even talking about? So what do you think about that, Kolo?
Say your word is unplanned. Dude, I'm still registering unplanned marriage. What is marriage? Kama, I think this is also something that we can pick as a different topic that we can talk about issues of marriage.
Yes.
To me, my dad asked me a question the day I took my wife home. Huyu ni nani? Hiyo swali ni ngumu sana. Huyu ni nani? And I look at my dad, hiyo swali unamaanisha? And then nikamwambia huyu ni bibi yangu. Alicheka, akafurahi, hadi akanisalimia, tukashake mikono, nikashindwa, did I say something right or wrong? Then he told me, ni kwa sababu mumekaa na yeye hadi muko na mtoto, so ukimpea hiyo jina, you have accepted, she's part of your life. Are you getting that? So I don't know if I call that planned, but anyway, for this unplanned, sijui ni ile tena, since kuna effect ya Kenya walifanya, now your unplanned becomes also part of the engagement wakiwa wawili. But personally, I would say udem ana feel hurt, because this is something that hakuna ana expect it happen after wamekuwa na boy intimately. But I think hayuko ready, from whatever umesema, hayuko ready kwa uchali mwenye akona unplanned plans, vitu zenye hazitaenda mbali. So yeye area kae na mtoto wake mwenye already alikuja as a result of what they wanted to do, but hawako wamepangia, but hayuko ready kuingia kwa ingine yenye tena itapangiwa, like ashafoasi ingine ita happen, so hayuko ready. I don't know if angekuwa hapa ningemuuliza hiyo jini na maanisha nini, but I think our young people need to also get enough information about the aftermath of what they want to engage in. We will never stop someone from doing whatever they want. But are you ready for the aftermath? Are you ready for the consequence?
So for me, it was interesting because she's very ready to have a child for this guy, but she's not ready to marry this guy. Like for me, I think he will get you go upside down because like we expect like how are you, first of all, how are you having unprotected sex with somebody you don't see yourself marrying? Like I know for men can do that, but for women, I mean that thing ilinigonga like
But
I know women
wait kidogo, probably
yes
wakati walikuwa wanataka kuwa V6 waliagree, dem aliambiwa aki, mimi after hapa tutaenda hadi kwa wazazi nini, then this happened so unajua there are words that people can use in order to have intimate relationship na have sex na wewe and all that. Probably it changed after, and that is why I said kuna siku nishaambiwa, I said this sex is boring because ni kitu utafanya
yes,
then after imeisha unajiuliza kwani nimedu. It is
hakuna
not
kitu
like
mtu utafanya.
ukwe angel ufly. It's just an act like any other thing. Kupigwa slap usikie uchungu iishe. So people,
Yeah.
I don't know, they attach something to it so much. So I think alikuwa ameambiwa very nice things zenye zita happen immediately, but then those things ikaisha nga chali akaenda mute, so ayuko ready to go back, and mi namfeel manze.
Na
I feel
huyu si ati ni wale watu wenye unasema gati aka ni kams nitapita nako. This is a person they have been seeing one another for like 2 years. Si ati ni chali wamekuwa
yeah.
together for more than 1 year.
Eh,
Na hii
boss,
ako na bole yake, but stories za kuolewa na huyo chali hataki. And mi nilikuwa na insist namuuliza okay, how did you get kukua pregnant? Like how are you engaging in sexual intercourse unprotected with somebody you don't see yourself settling down with? Because but I think women are changing, niache kumake assumptions, washaanza kwa mabrother maybe.
hapana, wacha kujudge. Waya tu tuseme tu ni ile like people are coming up with stands. They have decided. By the way,
Yeah.
this is life. I give you a chance to do the right thing, and once you mess it up, things change. The way I feel about you changes. Hata uniambie the same words that you used to tell me 20 years ago, I will say okay, but huku ndani there's something that is not working. So I think people bring up mishaps wakati mtu amekutrust na kitu fulani, and then wewe tu ndo karudi ukaimes. So I would say about it, mi siwezi blame, and I feel like alim let down, and a period of 2 years then airuke sahi manze, that is hurting. Ingekuwa mlikutana 1 week labda hakuna hiyo strong attachment, but 2 years is long. To me it is long.
Vero anasema I agree with her cause getting married to a man that is not ready to get married to you ni kuishi kwa stress. Okay. Now which I agree with, but then why should you have an easy life? Because now tushaleta mtoto kwa hii dunia. We are bringing a kid kwa hii dunia. Na mtoto anafaa like ideally mtoto anafaa kukuwa raised na baba na mama yake. You know, like when kids get into the picture, then our individuality take a back seat, because now huyu mtoi hakuchoose kukuja hapa. Mimi nimechoose ku have sex. Hiyo sex ime end up kuleta pregnancy. That is my choice. But now huyu mtoi hakuchoose hizi vitu. Now unataka kulea mtoto in a situation which is not ideal because you think okay, I am not ready, sijui nini. I just think people are just being selfish, because hii ni kitu mtu anafaa kufikiria before, alafu just to explain a little bit, sati huyu ni mtu wa huyu demu wa kwanza, so it's not like venye mtu anasemaga akisiku anajua hii inaweza happen, ama nimekuwa tu nikisikia inaweza happen. Huyu ni mtu mwenye ako na mtu mwingine, unaona? So I think tuko na a level of selfishness where we want to have everything. You know, like the way people say you can't have everything, or you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like life is about making choices. Like you can't go
Yeah.
to Mombasa and go to Nakuru at the same time. Like you
Mm,
need to
mm,
decide which one you are going. Yes, nataka kwenda Nakuru, nataka kwenda Mombasa, but I need to choose one. Like I can't do both. So you
mm,
can't be having unprotected sex and then not get pregnant eventually. Of course, you are not using
yeah.
protection. You are not even on contraceptives. Alafu
Mm,
eventually utapatikana. And Vero is saying kuna
mm,
difference between someone you're having sex with na someone who's already pushing at the rest of the women. We could be ready, but kuna vile men. It's true. Maybe kuna vile Charlie alianza kubehave. It seems Charlie hayuko ready. Na dem hataki kujiforce. It is totally acceptable. And I'm talking about
mm,
hii perspective ya huyu dem because she's my
yeah.
friend and we talk. So sijui perspective ya the boy child. Maybe yeye pia ako na ujinga yenye inafanya huyu dem afeel venye ana feel. But then I would also need to ask, who are people engaging with huku nje? You
Mhm.
know, people, if you ask young men, they'll say, huku nje kuna madem ni washenzi. If you ask young women, huku nje wanasema machali ni washenzi. But then, if you look critically, utarealize shida sio madem, shida ni huyu chali. Shida
Yeah.
sio machali, shida ni huyu dem. Kwa sababu, like we
Mm,
can't have all bad men, then we can't have all bad women. It is the people we
mm.
choose to engage with. Alafu, just because now I'm ranting, and I know atanipigia simu hapa, atani WhatsApp anitukane akiwochi. But
Tuliza
ni
tu.
ndefu. But ni ndefu, hopefully hatafikia hii place. Now,
Mm,
we need to teach our young boys and our young girls that they really need to vet even the people they are just having sex with, because shit happens. Like you just don't go having sex with everyone. Shit happens. So weka chali, usikuwa na watu tunaitaga watu mavampire, wale wa usiku wanakujaga kaa stima imezimwa,
mm,
watu wenye utaki watu wakuone nao huko nje. Shit might happen,
mm.
umpatie mimba alafu kwenye mtoto wa OCS
Yeah.
utaoa
Yeah.
by force na utatembea naye huko nje na hiyo sura yake personal.
Utaibeba na utaizunguka, and
Who,
Kamau, it is very true in what you're saying. Like, simply, women are evolved to invest
yeah,
very far more in a relationship than a man. Au
yeah,
wanaonanga huko mbele zaidi. Any brief encounter, like a romantic encounter, could lead to
yes,
what we spoke about, 9 months of pregnancy, again,
yeah,
followed by many years of lactation.
yeah,
What is the ancestral woman? Tunawaita hivyo cause au already hii kitu iko too structured, while the
yeah,
man tunasemanga may have left the
mhm,
scene immediately
yeah,
ama literally minutes after that encounter. Ana
yeah,
hata biological investment, like akili yake ifikirie about the investment ya the kid mwenye atakuja. And this is why unapata dem ana at a very ako at a high risk of kuselect high quality man, or mwenye
yes,
akona nilikuwa nasema mwenye
yeah,
amejipanga, mwenye akona vision. Then later the same guy mwenye left a minute after the encounter will come back. We've had
yes,
many of them coming back. And this Kamau, you know you are going to be very emotional nayo. They want parental inaitangwa nini, like pia wanataka
right,
yes, anataka akona right akona right, ni mtoto wake, yes, ni mtoto wake, but ajui kitu alifanyia huyu msichana was damaging. Yeye anataka
yeah,
tuende kotini. That is why you find some ladies, they become emotional when they go to the courts to say huyu aliniacha at a point whereby wewe kama binadamu una feeling life yako imeisha. So I
yeah,
think some of these things are triggered by men who don't have the thoughts about investing in these ladies and their kids after the encounter. And that is why these
yes,
ladies start to be watasema mimi hata kuende kurukeaji niite majina, but mimi huyu hata haja kanyaga hapa. So I think we can look at it from both angles, just like you were saying before.
Yes. Alafu pia there is this thing, women also have a tendency to overreact. Number one, and this is something I asked women, if today you went to a clinic uko pregnant, how do you take that news? Do you immediately embrace it and start rejoicing na hizo vitu zote, especially kama uko umejipanga? You know, there are those places where now tunajaribu, so when it comes it is celebration, but here hatujajipanga, hatu expect, alafu umekuwa msick kiasi, umekimbia hosi, umeambiwa hii ni ball. Do women like immediately just embrace that issue, wanaanza kucelebrate and stuff, or do they get shocked and then it also takes them time to think about it and process it? Because now when this woman who has been shocked her own time huko kwa hosi, mpaka labda akatoka kama hajalipa, akaenda akafikiria hiyo story, tuka maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month ku accept that enyewe by then niko na ball. She expects akuja ambie Charlie leo kama niko na ball, alafu Charlie ambo tu mara moja sawa asante, let us celebrate. Like they don't also want to give us time to process the information. Now when she tells you I'm pregnant and the first time it is shock, and then you are like, okay, sasa tufanye, like you freak out, then they are like Charlie ataki ball unini, then they like lock you out. So maybe a month, 2 months down the line when you come and say, okay, ile story ya ball unasema sasa hataki kukuona, hataki kukuongelesha, like kwani hawafikiri sisi ni humans, that it also will take us time to process this? Not even that, even wives, if my wife comes to you and tells you this is somebody you are married to, Kolo, niko na ball, you'll be like, how did it happen? What happened? Of course you know what happened, you know what you did, but ni bibi na mko na watoto wengine. But it also takes time for you to accept that you are getting another child on the way. But they don't want to give these men also. I know there are men who will just ruka kesi like hiyo ball si yangu nini, but they are just a man who is like ongea niambia kitu unataka, then the guy is like yenyewe hii news imenishock. Then unashokiwa nini? Kwani unafikiria nilikuwa na nani mwingine? It's like mbona drama? So your final remarks, and then I think we can now organize another session where we talk about marriage, and we try to also have a few women kwa panel, so that we can also see from where they are talking about or from their perspective and to come hizo. So your last remarks, final remarks.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we've tackled a lot of these things, but I want to just emphasize on issues of the value to education. I think the moment we start emphasizing education to our kids, be it issues of performance, now why education is going to be very key, because that is where they will learn a lot of these things as they're growing. I think this is how we can set high expectations for our children's growth. Every single day, repeat the same thing that tulikuwa tunaambiwa kitambo. Wewe jipange kimasomo, hebu fanya hii na hii. Atasikiza. At some point atapata information. If your child, for example, is not progressing well in school, you intervene early before agrow afike mahali sasa world itataka kumfunza vitu ziko pale nje, engaging with other young people, getting pressured to do whatever they want to do to feel in place. And then I said this some time ago, kitambo kwa different discussion, can we start showing our kids love? The moment we love them, they want to be loved by strangers. Hug them in their house. Hug our watoto wako ndio wajue this is a family touch. Wasihagiwe pale nje na strangers. Kaeni chini na watoi, there are small things that you need to do, eat together. Like wamekaa pale mnakula pamoja. Si ile wewe unaingianga saa 3, watoto walikula wakalala, you no longer see them, hata wakujui. Boss utaingia kwako si unaitwa uncle, and it will hurt you more. So can you sit with them, eat, wacha mzoe every aspect of bonding in the family. School failure najuanga is one of the key risk factors even for teenage teen parenthood. We need to keep track ya watoto wetu wakiwa wana perform kwa shule poa ama hapana. We need to know their teachers. We can even volunteer in schools if we can. There is a school, and I think Veronica knows, where parents are always called on Fridays to come and read stories to the children. Imagine, mzazi anaenda shule ako na storybook, anasomea watoto wote, alafu anauliza maswali, watoto wanauliza maswali hivyo, hiyo engagement. The more you become closer to your kids will not get exposed to a lot of things out there. And what I mean, apart from just bonding with your kids, please help and learn to teach your kids to use their free time in a constructive way. Let's give them options for the future that are much more attractive than these issues about pregnancy and parenthood. Let's take a very strong stand against teens dating people who are significantly probably older ama younger than they are. Like wacha tuangalie all angles of our kids growing up. Let our kids' friends know us as their parents. Wacha tujue wazazi wenye marafiki za watoto wetu wanakaa kwao. Tupende watoto wetu, tuache kuwatuma huko nje wakae na maanti na mashosho. That is where they learn also these things. Let us love our kids love us. Ndio wakigrow usikuwe ashamed ukisema mtoto wangu hanisikii siku hizi. It starts from us. At the moment we'll do that, I'm sure our kids will grow in a different way as compared to what the society would want them to be. So I would finish by saying that one. Tupende watoto wetu, tupende young people. Wakati wamefika teenage, keep on the fire. Wacha iendelee tu kukua na nyinyi, and everything will work out soon. Thank you so much.
Sawa, thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your thoughts. Vero, Sarah, thank you very much also for joining this discussion. Nawapenda tu sana na sasa nataka kulog off. If you want to be part of the panel, just you have my numbers. Just DM, so that we plan for the next one. I think the next one we can talk about venye Kolo umesema story ya marriage, because I think people have weird concepts and expectations and nini about marriage. When we come, we just exploit venye tunai understand and see if we can make sense or something. Sawa?
Yes, thank you.
Sawa, kwaherini, and tuonaneni tena.
Good night.
Good night to you too.